My name is Oforiatta Ayim. I'm a writer and a filmmaker and an art historian. And I run an organization in Ghana, in Accra, in Ghana, where I live. And I'm wearing a piece made by my dear friends, Ruby Slevin and Rocco Tullio. I just want to say a little bit about this piece because I think it's quite special the way it came about. We all three found ourselves somehow in London together, kind of each on our own creative paths. And somehow there was kind of always synergy with what we were doing and how we were talking and how we were envisaging things. A couple of weeks ago, I got asked to do a TED talk. And Ruby and Rocco were already making one of the wax prints for me, which I'd ordered. And then another friend, a mutual friend of ours, we were sitting at the kitchen table and she said, if you're going to be talking about belonging and identity with your kind of African context, maybe you should be wearing something that mirrors that. And then, like most good ideas, it came to me in a flashbulb. I was like, well, maybe they could make something that kind of brings those worlds together. And I suggested it to them and they were enthusiastic, which was great. And so my mother's been quite an important part in my becoming and my identity. And she passed away almost 10 years ago. And so whenever I do a really important event, I sometimes take something of hers and then have it kind of redesigned so that I have her with me in some way. So my mother, when I was younger, whenever we used to come to London, used to take me to Petticoat Lane Market, which is kind of like this big market in East London. And we used to go really early in the morning and I used to be really grumpy. And so I said to these guys, we should go to Petticoat Lane Market. So we met up Sunday at 8 and we went into one of these fabric stores. And, there was all these incredible, colorful, gold-lined fabrics. And there's this really interesting history about this particular type of fabric, which is that it's made for the West African market, but it was actually a fabric that came from Indonesia via Holland to the West African market. And yes, we have factories in Ghana that make them, but they are actually a Dutch production specifically for the West African market, which is quite an interesting story. And most of these cloths have some kind of meaning as well. They have names, they have meanings. And so we went together to choose the cloth, kind of feeling which textures were right, because the wax print that we'd actually based the cloth on, which they're designed, had a particular kind of weight to it. So we spent quite a lot of time there kind of weighing things up and choosing different cloths, which was like being in a sweet shop. And then, yeah, they made this incredible outfit. And I don't know, I think we had a week to make it. I knew that it would look amazing. Like and it did. It was great. It was great to wear it. I think the talk that I gave was about... it kind of like, it was a personal talk that also went into the collective, this idea of, all these kind of different fragments of your being coming together into a kind of unity. And so I think wearing this as well was, again, another layer of that expression because it kind of had part of my Irish life, which has been very important in my becoming. It had part of my Ghanaian life, it had part of my London life because we'd gone to Brick Lane, and it all came together in this kind of beautiful unity.